Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. It's a pleasure to have you all here today with us for another event from AI Inclusive with a partnership today with Our Lady San Francisco. We are so excited to have you join us. And we have several announcements, some housekeeping, and some things that are going to happen in the next few days or few weeks through the AI Inclusive community. So before I start here, my name is Gabriela de Queiroz. I'm the founder of AI Inclusive. I'm also the founder of Our Ladies, which I started in 2012. And community has been a big part of like the things I made about. If you don't follow AI Inclusive in our social medias yet, feel free to join us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube. All right. So I had some issues with my Bluetooth headset because it's live. Of course, I'm having issues right now. So if you missed what I said, I'm going to talk again. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Um, we have several things happening this week, next month that I'm going to announce in the end of this event. And let's see if you are all hearing me again now that I have this cabled headset. Yes, all good, awesome. It's always good to have like some options around you because if something doesn't work, you have a backup and then a backup and then a backup. Anyway, so join us. Don't forget to go to our website and sign up to get our latest news and updates. So AI Inclusive, if it's your first event, your second, your third, it's always good to remind you what is the mission of the group. So our mission is to increase the representation and participation of minority and underrepresented groups in artificial intelligence. So we do host events, we do tutorials, workshops, we host discussions, office hours, and we partner with companies to offer our community scholarships for boot camps, for courses, for conferences, and a lot of other things that we have in our pipeline that we are going to be announcing in the next month. So we are together creating this community to make AI more inclusive to everyone. We need to remind you that we follow a code of conduct. We have a code of conduct, which is very important. So our space is dedicated on providing a harassment-free experience for everybody. And we do not tolerate harassment of participants in any form. To know more about our code of conduct, you can go to our website, and we have the version in English and one version in Portuguese. I want to thank you, thanks our partners, dataquest.io. They gave us in December around 700 scholarships for members to our community. We are going to have another round of scholarship in next month in June. So we'll keep you updated on that. Fourth Brain is also another partner of us. We had a one round this month, not this month, but this year with them, where they gave us a 6,000 scholarship for their machine learning program. We are going to have another scholarship with them again coming up. I cannot say when, but it's this month. And there are for the rest of us. They also provided a scholarship to our group as well. We are going to be partnering with other boot camps. So join us, go to our website, and you'll see more information over there. Today, I'm very excited about this event, which is called Building Your Data Science Portfolio using GitHub, where you are going to learn how to create a data science portfolio using the GitHub. Sai Shruti is our guest speaker of today. She's a technical lead and a data scientist at IBM, working on open source, on AI, on data, democratizing AI. And she's going to give us an overview and also guide us through from the very beginning on understanding GitHub until to when and how you can publish your portfolio and then make your work be seen to different people, not only for your hiring manager, like someone that it's going to look at your work, but like anyone in the community. So I want to invite Sai Shruti to join us today. So Sai Shruti.
Hello, hi Gabriela.
Thank you for joining. So I'll leave you here. The floor is yours, and you can introduce yourself so people can get to know you better, and you can take from there.
Awesome, sounds great. Thank you so much for the great introduction. Yeah. Hello everyone. Wherever you are, greetings from my end, from our end, and thank you so much for joining us today. It's a it's this particular talk. The presentation is personally very close to my heart because I'm gonna talk about not just creating your portfolio using GitHub, but just my journey as well. So I'm going to present what worked for me, and I feel this will help you all in building your own data science portfolio. And bit of background about myself. I'm Sai Shruti Swaminathan, and I work as a technical lead and data scientist in IBM Code IT, which is Center for Open Source Data and AI Technologies. So my work is more in open source contribution, work with partners and clients, and also advocating around ethical AI and other open source projects. So that's a high level background of what I do. And today I'm here before you all to present about or walk you all through building your data science portfolio using GitHub. So let's get started. I hope you all can see my screen. So, what is the flow we are planning today, right? So, I'm going to talk about my own experience, the way I personally build my own portfolio, and I feel it will be useful for you, as I mentioned before. So, the flow, we are going to know about why do we need to actually know about GitHub, right? And how can it help in your career? And again, getting into what is GitHub and moving from project development phase to publicizing phase, and bit of tips on different project types that will be helpful to you to demonstrate your skills. Getting into the story. So, data science is all about storytelling. You need to be a better, data storyteller. So I personally want to start with the story, right? I'm going to take you all to 4 years back, where I was actually, starting my job search. I had done about 15 different kinds of project. I participated on one like few data science competitions and so on, right? So I approached recruiters, conveying the same, not just recruiter, any community member, be it anyone around, right, who are data science enthusiasts and like experts in the field, recruiters, hiring managers, and so on. For example, I used to just go and approach people blankly, telling that I know Python. I've done a lot of projects in this using this technologies. I know these toolkits and so on. And I'm a good data storyteller, right? That's how my conversation used to be. And when they asked me, like, okay, Sashi, it's all great. Can you please show my work? I went blank, right? Because I had not documented well, and my code was actually staying in my local machine, and I had to carry my machine everywhere, and I just went blank for a moment, right? So this is a real scenario which many of us would have faced. And that's why building your portfolio is really important when you're putting yourself out in the market. Yes, we need to earn trust of the people around, recruiters, hiring managers, or anyone in the community. And we need to demonstrate that we have the required skills to be in the field, right? For this purpose, it's important that you build portfolio of your projects. And that's where GitHub comes into picture. Now, do you see the flow? Like why we need and getting into why GitHub. So GitHub is an online hosting service. Through this platform, you can make your work, your code visible to the community. You can document the process you followed, right? The process, the techniques, the tool you have followed, the hypothesis you went with, everything, every single point that you touched in your project. You can document everything to reflect your work, and thus you're making it easy for anyone who is getting into your profile to understand you. You understand your technical skills and uh, your background and your work basically. So we are going to use GitHub as a way to talk about us. Now you can ask me, right, how will it look? I want to give you the visual feel of what I'm talking about. On the left is me before like 4 years going around talking about it. On the right, that's how I actually changed, right? From saying about my work to showing my work. That's what we all are going to do. Instead of saying about our work, we are going to show our work. And you can clearly see the difference here. We are actually putting everything into actions. As action speaks louder than words, that's the form that we are going to take. So, getting into the topic, let's see how we can create a portfolio with a very simple example here. I have a use case for predicting bike rentals example here, as you can see on the screen. It's one of the self-guided project from DataQuest. I have provided link on the slide, uh, which you can try later. I think we have the presentation up in the GitHub, so you can take a look at it. And as Gabriela mentioned before, there's an upcoming scholarship opportunity, and we'll share more at the end of the presentation as well. But getting back here, yes, so this is one of the guided project for predicting bike rentals. So let's say you go through the guided project, you understand a lot of concepts, you try out, different toolkits, so on, right? At the end, you basically download your work. I have highlighted here. You basically download the notebook that you have created. And now, where are you going to put this, right? You provide a meaningful name and you have it downloaded. You have all your work in your machine. Now, it's important for you to put it out to let people know that you have done this, you have experimented with the skills and technologies, right? How do you do that? That's where your GitHub comes in. So you're basically going to create an account in GitHub. And if you're doing it for the first time, it's going to give you an option to create a repository. And once you create a repository, you can upload your files. Let's see step by step. First, you create a GitHub account, and I'm going to give like a preview here. So I'm going to walk through the slides, and we'll have a demo as well, so we kind of understand things better. So let's see the slides for now. We create a GitHub account, and then we're going to create a new repository. Repository is nothing but your code folder, things like that. So repository will contain all your files, your history of your project, and so on. So this is on the left. This is the screen. This is the form that you will get. when you want to create a new repository. And what are the details that you want to give in? First, provide a good name for a repository. So this is one of the mistake that I was doing before. I was so curious enough that I used to type, okay, predict by rental. So some name that doesn't reflect my work, right? First impression is the best impression. So it's very important to give a meaningful repository name under description. Sometimes, though they have mentioned the description as optional, it it gives like more credibility. It gives like a good view about your work. So I feel it's important to provide a description of your work, and then make sure you add your readme license, and finally click on create repository. Again, I'll get into why you need to add a readme file in few minutes, but yeah, these are some of the basics. And now, second is, this is how your repository will look once you have them created. Now you have your, let's say you have completed this self-guided project in DataQuest, you have downloaded your notebook, and you need to upload your notebook to your repository that you have created, right? So how can you do it? How can you do that? First, you can click on add file, and then it's going to provide you an option to upload your file. I have circled that here. You can click on this upload file. Again, it's going to provide you a form. In this form, you have an option to choose your file from your mission, and you can provide a description of what this particular action of yours means. Here you are adding your notebook, right? And then you can click on the button like commit changes. What it does is it basically adds your file to the repository. So I'm going to take a pause here, and I'm going to show this in action. So if you are creating a GitHub account for the first time, you will have to provide details of your email ID, choose your username, password, and accept the conditions, and then you can create an account. And after creating an account, this is how it will look like. I think I'm missing my cursor here. So yes. Okay, so I'm gonna click on new. So this is the form I was showing before. Let me just maximize the screen so you can see. First, you need to create a repository. So provide a name to a repository. Here I'm providing as maybe bike rental prediction. And as I mentioned before, we need to provide, sorry, I'm just having some trouble with my, this. You need to provide description of your work. So this repo contains notebook demonstrating bike rental prediction, but you can have a better description for sure. And then you make your repository public, and make sure you add a readme file and choose a license. I'm choosing Apache 2.0 license, an open source license, and add a readme file. Click on create repository. Right now, what you've basically done is you have taken your work, which is lying somewhere in your system, and you're putting it out on cloud, and you're showing it to the community, right? And now you need to add your file. Click on add file, choose upload file. As I have mentioned before, this is the form. Click on choose your file. This is the notebook I have. and provide a description like adding notebook, because you need to know the actions that you have performed, right? So this is GitHub will just log all your actions and click on commit changes. And yes, we have our notebook. Now it's no more lying somewhere in our system, and we are putting it out as one of our way to demonstrate the skill. And this is what I have covered till this slide. And before going one step ahead, I'm just taking a pause to see if there is any question. So maybe I can come back to the question at the end of the presentation, but going through the next one, which is, did you see my the repository that I have created? It has just details about, okay, this repository contains notebook demonstrating my friend prediction, right? Think from the perspective of a recruiter or hiring manager or someone in the community wants to know about you or your background and your skills, right? Do you think it gives a better understanding of whatever concepts that you have experimented? I'm sure the answer is no, right? So what can you do? That's where the README file comes into picture. Your README is going to help you document about the process that you have followed or the tools that you have used and so on. So let's do a simple comparison. On the left is the README that I had before. On the right is the README that I have updated, defining the business problem that I'm trying to solve, and the data set I have used, tools I have used, the hypothesis that I had in my experiment, and the technologies and the process I followed and the performance, right? Can you see the difference? And this is one of the main elements when you're building your portfolio. Document the entire process. So when someone wants to know more about it, just by looking at the repository, they will be able to understand things better. And also your skills, it's going to reflect who you are, right? So document your process through the README. So some other examples. So till now I have spoken about what are the ways, I mean, simple few steps that you can follow to create your portfolio using GitHub. Now, I'm going to give like a bit of points or tips to build on a portfolio. Like, what are the, if you're focused, if you want to become a data scientist, if you want to become programmer, whatever field that you choose, right? Uh, how do you reflect it? For the sake of this presentation, I'm focusing on the data science aspect. There are different items that you can show in your portfolio: your programming skill, your data wrangling skill, your storytelling skill, your model, the background that you have in statistics and data engineering process, and so on. Right. One tip from my end is choose a project, or choose a business problem, not a project. Choose a business problem and try to break it down and choose a real data that matches real time, right? We often tend to stick with data that's basic, like iris and other data sets, which is awesome to start your data science career. But as you're projecting yourself, your skills to the community, it's great if you have use some data set that reflect the real world problem. For example, let's say I'm a product owner and I'm losing customers in my uh, company, and my revenue is going down. That could be one of the business problem, and we go back and search some data set that can reflect our problem, and you demonstrate how you are solving the problem, right? Let's say you define your own business problem, you take some of the question, you show some of the tools that you are using, and you document everything in the README, right? So these are some of the tips on how you can enhance your profile and show that you can actually solve a real world problem, uh, than showcasing a problem with a simple use case. So again, this is something exciting and interesting, or something about my own story. So again, 4 years back, I was looking for job, and and I was searching all over. I used to send like 100, typically, like, if I'm not wrong, 100 applications a day through online recruiting platform. And it didn't quite work out, right? So that's why I started creating my own data science portfolio through GitHub. And after creating that, it doesn't stop with that, right? Now you have done your development process, awesome. You have put it out in the GitHub, which is great. It doesn't stop there. You need to publicize, you need to talk about your work, right? That's how all these blogs, your community comes into picture. So what I basically did was I added my work to the GitHub, and I started writing blogs about it. And I started speaking about the work that I have done. Let me just show you. So this is one of the blogs I wrote about logistic regression. So basically I have covered simple math. As you can see here, I didn't do anything fancy, right? Just keep authentic, keep it real. I just took my own handwritten notes, and I pasted here, and I walked through the entire math behind. At the end, I'm providing link to my notebook, to my GitHub, right? And I started speaking about it in small meetups. I started getting out in the community. I started writing blogs in towards data science and so on. That's how I kind of got the community to know about me. Right? It Your work doesn't stop with doing different projects, but it's very important that you talk about it. And one other point that I would like to share here is, a lot of time, even when you're approaching people through LinkedIn, we use the typical template that's there. We tell about, okay, I'm so happy to have connection with you, and can you please, there is an opening here, this is my resume, and so on. To be practical, it, you have to reflect your work, because you really don't know the other person. And for other person to easily know about you it's really important to take all these steps forward. So when you're sending a message, you can even talk about, send a link to this blog, right? If you send link to one of your blog, talking everything in depth, talking your methodology, your skills in depth, that is actually more impactful than using a typical template, right? So these are some of the tips that kind of work for me. Not just stopping with the development of the project or working on a project, but rather talking about it and publicizing it through Medium, through LinkedIn, and other media platforms. Just a second. And the final point that I would like to make here is about GitHub pages. So I'm going to show you an example here. So we have all a repository, right? I have all my projects and repository listed here. Now, let's take one step further, right? There is something called GitHub pages. It's a static site for hosting your, it's a static site, it's a hosting service. You can host your own site with GitHub's github.io free domain. You don't have to pay for it. They have their predefined template. For example, let's say you create a repository for that. You can go to the settings. If you go here, there is an option called pages, right? You can click the source. You can choose your theme. I'm just going to create a site for myself to show my work in like few minutes, right? You have predefined template. You can actually select this one. Click on commit, and in few minutes you're going to get your So in few minutes, you're going to get your static site, which is for free. And I have used the same template here for creating a site for myself and taking my portfolio one step further, putting everything under one roof and talking about my work. You can just directly send link to your site, and it provides even more clarity to your profile. So that's something I would like to share as well. And now, last but not the least, excuse me. So these are some of the courses that we have on Coursera. And Gabriela, I am along with one other team member of ours. We are creating courses here. We have data visualization with R, data visualization, data analysis with R, data visualization with Python. Up, up in the Coursera, you feel free to take a look, enroll yourself. I'm pretty sure if you're a student, you can get financial aid as well. So should be a great learning material for you all. And we have open source course coming up, which is pretty exciting because we are providing an overview of what it takes to be an open source committer, contributor, or even a maintainer. And we are providing a light on how this open source the complete system works, right? So they're all coming up for you. Stay tuned, and there are a lot of other excitements that are coming up as well. So just to give you all an overview, we saw about uh, you know why we need a portfolio, right? Without portfolio, it's just going to be us talking about what all we know. It's just going to be us talking about yes, I know this, I know that. It's by creating a portfolio, you're actually going to tell to community, tell to the recruiting people, tell to your hiring manager that yeah, you have this requirement and I have the skill, right? So that's how we showcase your work in a more presentable, in an easy to understand way, using GitHub, uploading your work to GitHub, and also creating your site for yourself with no cost in just few clicks using GitHub pages. So I have completed my presentation, so I'm up for answering the questions.
Hey, Saisharuti, thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation. It was very insightful. It's, it's important for everybody to know, especially when you are looking for a new job, that having a portfolio, having a page where you can point people to, writing about it, and there is a misconception that people think that you have to be an expert to write about it, and it's the opposite. As you learn a new thing, writing will make you stick the concepts better in your mind, and then you are going to be sharing with others as well. So it's also great, right, to show your work. And you told that to us, that it was a way for you to differentiate yourself from the crowd. You apply to over, I don't know, 100 jobs a day. And when you start doing the blogging, it's when people started to notice your work, right? Yeah, that's great. We have a few questions, which I'll put over here. The first one is from Ana Beatriz, and they are saying if it's possible to be going through the same workflow but using the GitHub desktop.
Yes, so GitHub has like three ways. One, you can just use the web, and the other one, you can use your app as well. They have app version. I haven't used app. I'm not sure how good it's for uploading your files and so on. You can manage, as far as I know, it's good for that. But GitHub desktop for sure. You can do the same, stuff, whatever you're doing on the web through your desktop option as well.
Yeah, we were talking about this, that the web, it's so intuitive. on what you have to do. So it's like the easiest way of getting introduced to GitHub. The desktop for sure, it could be an easy way as well. I think it's an easy way. I myself don't use the desktop at all. It's either UI or the terminal, but I'm sure you can do same thing for the desktop application. Another interesting question from the same person, and we talked about this also yesterday, which was they are thinking about creating one repo, one repository for all DataQuest guided projects. So you showed one guided project. Is there any good practices like one notebook for each repository, or it's more personal, kind of like your choice?
I can share about how I usually do. So what I do is, if it's like a full end-to-end project, right, where I demonstrate a complete, a business problem or real-world problem, and I go through the entire pipeline, right? It's a complete project from extraction till deployment. In that case, I usually prefer having a separate project. But if it's still a group of notebooks, right? So what I usually do is, I will have I will experiment one Kaggle data set or any data set a week, and I used to have a lot of notebooks. So I tend to club them into one, and I write about it. Right? It's not just uploading. So every time I upload a notebook, I used to write like a paragraph, simple paragraph explaining what that notebook is, and then provide link to the notebook. It's important to link back the notebook, because since you'll be having 10 different notebooks, you need to be more descriptive, document the file name, add a link to the notebook so it's easy to trace back. So that's a thing that I follow.
And one follow-up for that question is, when you are creating your resume, me as a hiring manager, I always recommend people, and I like to see that as well. When you are creating your resume and then you have your projects, always have a link to your GitHub repo about that project. So when I'm going to see your resume, I just click, and then it redirects me to your repo, and I can read about everything that you have done in that project. I can see a README with some information. We can see how you code, the comments that you add to your code, etc. So it's very valuable.
Sure.
Well, we got a lot of questions around license. And Saishuriti, can you talk about a little bit about license without going into very details what each license is?
Sure. Yeah, since we are in open source team, so license is like something that we all deal with day in and day out. So there are different types, right? If you want to share your work, and if you want people to contribute to it, that's one part of a license. If you're letting people to update your code, right, that's one part of a license. Or if you are a little bit restrictive, I just want to share my code, but I don't want people to come and just use the same code, then that's a different kind of license. And on the other end, you're telling, okay, I have this code, I have developed this software, but and I'm open to distribute it. They can take my code, they can do their own modification. You're letting them even modify the code that you have. That's one part of a license. So what I'm trying to say here is, I can also share link to the. I think you have shared link for the licensing. First, you need to be clear about the restrictions and permissions that you can let people you know uh, work with your project or the software that you're developing or the code that you're developing, right? First, have a clarity on that, and then start. There's an open source licensing website which provides you a detailed description of what each license permission is, right? Do they allow distribution? Do they restrict distribution? Do they allow people to contribute? Or you are keeping it just closed, no one can do anything, you just have to, you're not even like showcasing the code, right? There are different varieties. So I would recommend, have like a goal, like how you want your software to be, and then use the websites, the open source license website to read about it. For example, Apache 2 MIT licenses are pretty flexible for distribution and contribution and making changes to the code, whereas there are a bit more there are other licenses that are a bit more restrictive, right? Read about it and then match your license with your goal. And then it's very important to, because these are the habits that I didn't follow when I was doing my graduation, later I realized it's really important. It shows your it shows how professional you are. So add like a licenses to your project, so it makes it more clear whether people can use it, so that you can save your work from being exploited.
Yeah, awesome. I shared the websites, Shruti, that you mentioned. I think you mentioned Choose a License, which is this website over here. And it's also like a good segue for us to say that in a few days, we are going to have this open source course that is going to be open and free for everybody. It's going to be under a different platform called Skills Network. And it's going to be free and open to everybody, where we talk about the licenses. We go through a README. We go very detailed, the things that you need to set up your GitHub account. And we go until like how to contribute to open source projects. It's very open source focus, but there is a lot of like good tips on that course and a lot of materials that we cover, right?
Yeah, it's going to be up in a week, so just stay tuned.
Yeah, we are going to share soon. It's live and running. Someone is asking another question here about something about like having your work from school on GitHub, if you should do that. I'm trying to find again. Let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah. Oh no, this was me saying how important it is. Oh, someone is asking about this. Where can I find data science practical projects to show or improve my skills?
So I just see this as a two different ways. Gabriela, feel free to share your thoughts as well here. So one way is you have all these guided projects, right? You basically go through the projects and then you present the work. On the other side, you just take a data set, maybe. I mean, as a data scientist, like if you're aiming to be in this, if you're really passionate about this field, it's really important for you to tell the story better. It's very important for you to understand, the business problem, and it's really important for you to tell a good story about your data. So whenever you see the data, it's going to be look like it'll look like a jigsaw puzzle, right? And from there, you're going to build a puzzle, and you know what you're going to get at the end. And keeping that end goal, you're going to play with all the puzzle, small like puzzle items together. You're going to create it, right? Think this as a puzzle. So why I'm telling this is, you go and find a data set, and then you just create a problem. Try to derive like a business problem out of it, right? For example, let me give an example. So what I encountered a telecom data set from Kaggle like 2 weeks before. What I actually did was I just read through all the features in the data set, and I want to demonstrate people, just tell people how to get a business problem when you look at a data set, right? I went through all the features trying to learn about it, and then I finally saw a final column, which is churn. Churn is nothing but if the customer is still there with the telecom company or they're leaving, right? And that caught my eyes. So I want to build my entire project around it, right? So what I did is I got this business problem. Okay, look, I have a telecom company, and will my company customers will stay with me or not, provided they have this features, right? Provided they have they have opted for the internet service, they have opted for telephone, or so on. So I kind of built the problem for myself, and then I went through the entire process, showcasing from development till deployment, right? So one way, if you want to practice, just go through the guided project, understand how they are trying to get the business problem out of the data set, and once you're comfortable, after going through, maybe experiment with 5 to 10 guided projects, and once you get hold of the way the problem is being created from the data set. Now take your own data set and create your own business question and data science question and then go through the process. So that's the pipeline I see is happening for someone getting into the field. I hope it answers your question.
Yeah, that's very helpful, Sushruti. I also shared one of the projects that we work on, which is the data asset exchange, where we have like several notebooks that we show how to do end-to-end analysis and how to structure. I don't know if you want to show that, but like it's also a way to show how you can structure your project as well.
So I'm just getting the data set here. So this is the data set, right? And I'm going to just preview. Yes. So, we have this weather data, right? Now we thought, okay, after looking through all the features, we thought, okay, why? Okay, I'm just going back, taking a step back here. So we went through the features. We understood what this data set has, right? After going through all the features, we saw something like temperature, right? We saw something like humidity. Then we sit together and thought, okay, why don't we create a model, a time series model that's going to predict what will be the next 72-hour temperature, right? So that was like a basic idea. And then here we wanted to show the entire data science pipeline, which means here we are showing a way to extract or read your data, to clean your data, and we are listing all the steps that uh, we uh, we went through in the cleaning process, and we created it as one notebook. So imagine you uploading this to your GitHub and showcasing whatever you have done. It's going to be really effective because you're clearly telling them what are the steps you have went through when cleaning the data. So this kind of tells people who are looking into your profile, like, you have good data cleaning, like you're good at these skills, pandas, NumPy and so on, right? And now, then we went into the analysis phase, which is visualizing phase, right? Here we are showing the next component in the pipeline in a much more detailed manner, trying to understand how these data set features interact with each other. So again, imagine this. This is going to tell anyone looking into a profile that you know how to understand data better and you know how to communicate with your data better, right? And of course, the technical side, you're going to tell them, I'm good using, let's say, Matplotlib, like ggplot or whatever, right? Whichever package you're familiar with. So you're going to tell that as well. And the third is the model development. As you can see, we have documented in a detailed way, telling step-by-step process that we go through. And here we are showing the model development phase. We are talking about the baseline model, and then we are even talking about the ARIMA model that we used for the prediction, and also result of the training and the testing validation phase, right? So when you see the notebook, can you get the feel like, okay, this person has gone through a detailed process, right? That's how you basically create your profile, demonstrate your skills and the tools that you're using. I hope it kind of gave you all a clarity on how we structure the project from data extraction till the deployment part.
Yeah, that's great, Sashruti. Someone asked about the data set, where I can get the data set. The data set is all in the website. You just click on get this data set and you can download, or you can run on the cloud through the notebook that she was showing. Yeah, let me put. Yeah, get this data set. Another question, like people are very interested in the license. And this conversation about license can go on and on. and someone asked about the data license, there is another discussion that maybe we should have a different event on this, where we discuss some of the most common licenses for like projects in general, and then licenses for data sets that they are different from the general ones that you showed, for example, on the GitHub repo. But we can share some of like resources that we used and we know that are very good for people to learn and understand.
I guess we can also share about the CDLA if you want to know about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yep.
Do you want to do a quick explanation?
Yeah, so this is like some popular licenses: Apache 2.0, MIT license, and I guess it's like a one separate conversation, like one separate presentation that we can even have about license, but giving you all a high level overview of it. So this particular license, right, it's called CDLA, Community Data License Agreement, is very specific for data science, sorry, data sets. If you are sharing, there is a different license. What kind of permission that you want to give to your data set, right? How you want your data set to be used. And there are a lot of factors. Like when you're collecting the data, do you have the permission to use all the data, right? Let's say you are collecting some personal information. How do you want to use your personal information in the data set? So this particular license is more curated towards the usage of the data set. Not before we were talking about usage of the code, how you are letting your collaborators or the community people to see your code as, right. But this specific license called Community Data License Agreement, which we are using for all the, not all, like most of the data sets in the data asset exchange I was demonstrating before, a way to share your data set in a much more secure and secure fashion, like in a much more better way. So I guess I'm you can pretty open, like if in future we can have a detailed presentation going through each and every license, what it allows, what it doesn't allow, and also if you want some suggestion on how to choose your license, right, then we can even have like a simple guide that walks you through it.
Yeah, that's great, Sashrit. It's a good suggestion, and people get caught up in this kind of license, because again, it's complicated and there are a lot of restrictions for some of the license. Some of the licenses are more permissive. You can share the data sets, you can change, you can edit the data set as well. Let's see if we have any other question here. I see a lot of questions from Trisha. I see some people sharing places where you can find a data set. Any other question that anyone has in terms of like what Sashruti presented, or any general question around Sashruti career progression? But I think Sashruti was very good. The presentation that you gave, and people usually get afraid of like GitHub, especially when you are showing the terminal comments and not the UI. So you showed that you can do everything through the UI. Okay, so okay, that's a good question, which is not related to the GitHub itself, but more about the scholarship. What is the process of scholarships? That's a good question. And so we have a few processes. Some of the scholarships, they are focused on certain population. For example, the DataQuest one, the first round, and the fourth brain, our focus was on gender minority groups in data science. And the process in general is you join AI Inclusive, and then you fill out a form and you participate in the in the selection. Like sometimes we have more applications than the number of scholarships, though, so we have to do some kind of like lottery. In the DataQuest example, because we got 700 scholarships, we are able to accommodate almost everybody that applied for that scholarship. So again, in June, we are going to have another round of DataQuest, which is going to be open for everybody. So I'll keep you all posted on this news. Another question, so it was around, okay. That's an interesting question, Sashruti, if you want to take that one.
Sure. How to demonstrate model deployment part in portfolio, or it is just up to model evaluation part? So model deployment, I'm just looking for some examples here. But how do you demonstrate, right? So you can have like a flow chart. So this is something I follow. Just have like a flow chart. Let's say you're creating your Docker file, right? You have your model. You have, let's say, I'm just talking in terms of microservice perspective, kind of like getting into the next level. So you have a model, you have an API to access your model, and you create it as a microservice, you're Dockerizing it, you're deploying on a Kubernetes platform, and so on, right? Now have a flow chart that tells you, okay, this is how you kind of take your model, you kind of create it as a microservice and deploy. Let me show you an example. So I'm going to show you another like open source project for model asset exchange. So this is an object detector model, right? It kind of shows you the description of the model, what are the deployment option, what, how do you deploy your model. So this kind of demonstrate a way, or this is how you document once you get your into the deployment phase, right? I have another example here. So this is from one of our workshops. So let's say you have your MNIST model, right? This is like the sample model, or like the first starter code that we usually have. You talk about the data source, you talk about the framework that you are using, you give like a high level overview of what the data set is, give an overview of how you train the model, and now how you step by step you can display about how you kind of created the model as a microservice, and then show about how you build your Docker image and how you run it, right? Also how you deploy them on Kubernetes. So that's how you have like a flow chart in mind, or it's always good to visually see this. So have like a good flow chart, and then step by step explain how you move from your model development, how you move from getting your model files and wrapping it up and put it in deployment, and how you created the pipeline. Right? And also we have a lot of code patterns. I can send this as well, which demonstrates the pipeline. Like how do you put it in a proper flow? I hope it gave a bit of overview or some points about writing a README or the documentation for the deployment part.
Thank you, Sashruti. I don't know if we have any other additional question. Let's give another minute if anyone has any additional questions. Okay. Very well answered, Sashruti. Thank you. All right, everybody. So if we don't have any additional questions, I want to thank Sashruti for giving us this great talk, this great information around how to create a data science portfolio, on GitHub. The whole material is available on our GitHub repository. If you have any suggestions, any questions around the AI inclusive, if you want to participate, if you want to help organizing any of these events, or if you even want to talk about something, we are always looking for people to help us continue this this community building. So please get in touch with us. It's very important to your participation. It's important for people to volunteer so we can make this the AI field more inclusive for everybody. So Saishruti, any final remarks, anything else? How can people find you on social media if they want to follow your work? Where can I find you?
LinkedIn is the one that I'm most active on. So I guess I have my LinkedIn in the repository as well, linked to my account. So I am like, if you have any question, or if you want to if you want to discuss, or even create like a use case, right? I'm always open up for collaboration. So just feel free to send a message with your question, or if you want to create like co-create any, maybe just experiment with a new business problem, right? That always excites me. So yeah, through LinkedIn is the best way. I would prefer, and thank you so much, Gabriela and AI Inclusive team for having me here. It's awesome, and I just want to end this my 50th talk. So I'm so happy to be here. So, on my 50th talk, yeah.
I was about to say that. So Saishruti just got the 50 mark of talk that she has given for the since you started giving talks. So it's very encouraging to hear that. So everybody can start giving talks and sharing whatever you know, or even what you don't know, but you want to share and learn. The best way for you to learn is by teaching others. So if you have anything that you want to talk about or learn, please let me know, and we'll make this space for you to present and share something that you want to share. So thank you very much again, Saishruti. I hope to see you around. I hope we can host another event with you. And just a reminder for everybody here, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Don't forget to sign up to get our latest updates. If you have, again, any feedback, any suggestion for future events, please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much, and I hope you all have a great day, a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.